Ever tried to be polite in English and accidentally sounded cold or rude? You're not alone. Today, we're going to show you how native speakers stay polite without sounding distant or, robotic.
I mean, seriously, if this has ever happened to you, welcome to the club. It's one of the most common challenges for English learners, even at a really high level. You have all the right words, the grammar is perfect, but the vibe is just kind of off.
And that's exactly what we're calling the politeness puzzle. It's this tricky little idea that being grammatically perfect doesn't automatically mean you're being socially perfect. So let's dive in and start unpacking why that is.
Okay, so here's the crucial point. In many cultures, being direct is a good thing, right? It's a sign of clarity, of efficiency. But in a lot of English-speaking places, especially in the UK and North America, pure directness can come across as a little demanding or maybe even impatient. The goal isn't to change what you're saying, but to adjust the feeling behind it.
So how do we do that? How do we get from being direct to being more diplomatic? Let's look at the secret tool that native speakers use all the time, a lot of the time without even realizing they're doing it.
The secret is something called softening language. Just think of it like a set of tools, a few words here or a phrase there that you can add to your sentences. They act like little cushions, making your requests and statements feel less like commands and more like, hey, let's work on this together.
Let's look at a classic example, a really simple request like, give me the file. Grammatically, it's perfect. It's clear, but it sounds like an order, doesn't it? It feels very one-sided, and it leaves absolutely no room for the other person to feel like they have a choice in the matter.
But what if you said, could you please send me the file? See, that simple change turns the order into a question. It immediately introduces choice and respect. You're still asking for the exact same thing, the file, but the how, well, the how makes all the difference. It signals that you see the other person as a partner, not just someone who's there to follow your orders.
All right, so now let's apply this to two of the most common, and let's be honest, sometimes stressful situations you'll face. Making requests and, of course, having to say no.
Okay, picture this. You open your email, and you see this. I need your feedback on this by 5 p.m. Is it clear? Yep. Does it create a good feeling? Probably not. It can feel like a pressure tactic, right? It creates stress instead of a sense of collaboration.
So here are some much better alternatives. Instead of starting with I need, try something like I was wondering if. It's just so much softer, and it shows you actually respect their schedule. Instead of a command like send me your report, try would it be possible to get your report? And adding phrases like when you have a moment or when you get a chance, that's pure gold. It shows that you get it. You understand the other person is busy too.
All right, now for what might be the hardest one of all, saying no. Just a flat, direct no can feel really harsh or unhelpful, but there's a way to refuse a request while still being seen as a positive and collaborative person.
Here is a fantastic 3-step formula you can use every single time. Okay, step 1, connect. You start with something positive or empathetic. Step 2, refuse. You state the no, but you do it clearly and gently, using a softening phrase. And step 3, which is optional but super helpful, solve. If you can, offer an alternative or just a brief explanation. This shows you still want to help, even if you can't do the specific thing they asked for.
So let's see this in action. The direct response, no, I'm busy, it just shuts the door. End of conversation. But look at the polite refusal on the right. I'd love to. That's our positive connection. But I'm just in the middle of something. That's our gentle refusal. Could you give me about 30 minutes? And there it is, our alternative solution. It's perfect.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into a simple, practical toolkit that you can start using like today. So think of this as your politeness cheat sheet. Use hedging words like just or a bit to soften what you're saying. Your new best friends for making requests are the polite verbs, could, would, and might. Start your sentences with question phrases like I was wondering if. Give the other person some flexibility with time buffers like when you get a chance. And when you've got to say no, use that positive framing like I'd love to, but. Honestly, these are absolute game changers for sounding collaborative. And it's so important to remember, this isn't about being fake or overly indirect. The real goal here is connection. Using softening language shows that you respect the other person's time, their feelings, and their independence. It builds better relationships, which at the end of the day is way more important than just being grammatically perfect. So here's a final thought to take with you. Based on everything we've talked about, what is one email you're going to write? or one conversation you'll have this week, where you can try out one of these softening techniques. Give it a go. I think you might be really surprised by the response you get.